Sir.
Okay, very good. We're recessed into closed session at time 6 p.m.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I call the regular meeting of the Menifee City Council to order, having adjourned from closed session at 6:24. Mr. Melching, do you have a report out of closed session?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just very briefly, on the first item listed on the closed session agenda tonight, the City Council considered a pending government claim and gave direction to city staff with regard to how to proceed on that claim. And then as to the second item on the closed session agenda, there is no reportable action on that matter. That is all.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Thank you, yes, Your Honor. Councilmember August. Councilmember Furman.
Here.
Councilmember Denver.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Edgerton. Here. And Mayor Mann.
Here.
Thank you.
And for our words of inspiration tonight, we have Rabbi Jim Woodcock. Would you please come to the podium, sir?
Good evening. Jeremiah 29:7 says, "Seek the peace of the city where I have sent you, and pray to the Lord on its behalf, for in it, its peace, you will have peace." Our God and the God of our ancestors, the one who inspires salvation, source of life and power, may you bless and protect our leaders and all those who exercise authority in keeping with our laws. May the Holy One of blessing bring strength to all who work in our communities. On behalf of those who need our support, strengthen them both in body and in spirit, and reward their efforts with success. May those in leadership act in accordance with your insight that the truly strong are those who raise up the fallen. The truly honored are those who honor caregivers, and the truly wise are those who acknowledge the vital work of all our teachers. We turn to our leaders for inspiration and hope, direction and guidance. May they lead us in the paths of peace, build communal cohesion through both word and deed, and bring about your blessings, we pray. B'Shem Shel HaMashiach Yeshua Ken Yehi Ritzon. In the name of the Messiah Yeshua, so may it be. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate those words. Councilmember August, would you please lead us in the pledge?
Yes, please join me in just allegiance to our flag. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all very much, and I would like to recognize Assemblywoman Melissa Melendez from the 67th Assembly District with us tonight. Thank you very much, Assembly Member, for being here with us tonight. We don't have any presentations, but I do believe we have an introduction. Mr. Johnson?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I'd like to introduce to you Bruce Foltz, the city's second finance director. Bruce comes to us from the city of Wasco, which is north of Bakersfield, and we're very excited to have him and continue on our financial excellence.
Welcome, sir. We hope you put the decimal points in the right place. On to approval of the minutes. Are there any modifications to the minutes of 17 September? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you please note my abstention?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Do we have any modifications to the agenda tonight?
No, sir.
Thank you. Would you please call the first public commenter?
Yes, as a matter of fact, Assemblywoman Melissa Melendez.
Well, thank you. Oh, gosh, don't applaud. No. Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. Thank you for accommodating me this evening. I wanted to make sure I had an opportunity to give you a legislative update. I'm doing my tour across the district. I'm giving all the councils an update, and you are the first. So I have a list of notable bills. I'm certainly not going to name off all of them because there are thousands of them. But I want to just give you an update on some of the notable ones that you might find of interest. Of course, we know that the bill that would have restored VLF funding to the city of Menifee and the city of Wildomar and two other cities was vetoed by the governor, unfortunately. The water bond, which will be Proposition 1 on your ballot, that replaces the $11.1 billion bond that was approved in the legislature a few years ago. We did scale it back. Would have preferred to have more money for storage, quite frankly, but we couldn't get there. So, we met in the middle. So there will be money in that bond for things like groundwater cleanup and management, storage. There's the possibility of perhaps another reservoir being built. I don't know if that will actually happen. But our concern is that Southern California, who has been conserving for many, many years, that we don't get the short end of the stick. So a little bit of a fight between the North and the South up there, but we won. So there is a groundwater package that was approved by the governor, and for those of you who have groundwater rights, I'm sure that that was a cause of great disappointment for you. This is going to affect those who have water rights, or our farmers, or agriculture, and many other private property owners who are now going to be told, you don't have the rights to that water anymore. I cannot tell you how it's going to be implemented because no one knows. They didn't get to that part yet, but this is very concerning to many. There are some who say the groundwater should have been regulated many years ago, but stripping the water rights away I don't think is the answer we were looking for. However, the governor did sign that bill, so we will wait to see what happens. With respect to public safety, I am the vice chair of the Public Safety Committee in the Assembly, and I see many, 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 many gun control bills come before us. Many of them pass. Surprisingly, many of them do not, but too many pass if you ask me. There is a few here of note. AB 1014, this is a gun restraining order, which makes California the first state to allow family members to petition judges to take away their relatives' guns if they see that they're dangerous. I did oppose that bill. That's going a bit too far, but the governor did sign that bill. Senate Bill 199 by Senator De Leon, who will be the new Senate president in October. Mr. De Leon thinks that BB guns and airsoft guns and pellet guns should all be a brightly colored pink, purple, green, yellow, or something like that, so that they are not mistaken for a real firearm. Though we tried to impress upon him the fact that if one wanted to get one over on law enforcement or people paying attention in the neighborhood, they could paint their real piece of ammunition with a brightly painted color, green, pink, purple, and that wouldn't solve the problem. However, despite my opposition, that bill was signed. There is another bill which relates to paid sick leave. So California employers will be required now to provide 3 days of paid sick leave. So if you are a business owner, you are an employer, and you previously did not provide paid sick leave to your temporary employees, part-time employees, you will now have to do that. There are just so many on here. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to come and be the bearer of bad news tonight. I'll find something good in here. Don't worry. I'll keep looking. The plastic bag ban. Groan from the audience. Thank you. I love that. That's what I did. So we went round and round about this bill. The governor signed it anyway. He said during his debate with our governor candidate Neil Kashkari that he would probably sign the bill. He did indeed do that. This will place a 10-cent cost on the paper bags you use in your grocery store. That money will go directly to the grocery stores. That money will not go toward cleaning up the environment, perhaps educating the public on how to keep our waterways clean. That money goes directly to the grocery stores. So you can either pay 10 cents per paper bag, or you can do like I'm going to do and pull out that massive mound of plastic bags that you've been saving for just this moment and use those when you go. Eventually you will run out of those and you will have to resort to, the reusable bags. They have filed paperwork to have that stopped. Those who oppose it, I don't know that they will be able to do that. Let's see here. Let me give you a couple more, and then I will see if you have any questions for me. Okay, so this one's kind of interesting. There is now it's called the Yes Means Yes bill. This is directed toward college students on campus, which will require a student to give some sort of affirmative, I don't know whether it's a form filled out in triplicate, I don't really know, but you have to show proof that you agree to engage in, since my children are here, intimacy with another individual. Again, I don't know what that means. Do you sign a form? I don't even know. I don't know what happens after if you sign it ahead of time, or you don't sign it and then perhaps someone has a few too many drinks and then they agree to sign it. I have no idea. but the governor signed that bill. There's also a ghost gun bill. This is the final one that I will give you an update on, and then I will quickly move to the funding for our colleges or lack thereof, and then I will open it up to questions. And there's a ghost gun bill by Senator De Leon, again, my favorite person in the Senate. And this requires anyone who makes or assembles a firearm to get a serial number, to go through a whole process of, if you have pieces and parts that you can have, that you can make that don't necessarily come together to make a firearm, he wants you to go through a whole other process as if you are a manufacturer. I would like to point out that ghost guns, as they are calling them, something that cannot be detected at an airport or through some sort of metal detector, those are already illegal. That's a federal ban. You are not allowed to do that, so we're not really certain what a ghost gun is. We couldn't get a picture of it. I guess it's invisible if it's a ghost gun. I don't know. So, but those aren't allowed, just so you know, so don't go and do that, okay? And lastly, funding boost for our UC and CSU campuses was vetoed. We did ask for more money so that we have more students who have the opportunity to go to college, and the governor vetoed that bill despite the fact that Prop 30, as you recall, was supposed to free up some funding for educational purposes. So on that happy note, I'd like to open it up to questions.
Any questions from the dais?
Okay. Wonderful. Then I'm out of here. And thank you for all of your help during the legislative season and crafting some bills, and certainly giving me your input on what you think of some of these bills. I'm looking forward to working with you in the upcoming season, and you have a real nice crowd here, so good luck tonight.
We thank you very much for everything that you do for us up there in your first term, and congratulations on, I'm sure, will be a second term, even with your write-in candidate opponent. And thank you also for bringing a portion of your baseball team tonight.
You are very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Ann Pica.
Mayor and council members, because the mayor was on vacation at the last meeting, I will repeat what I said. Your opponent told me he had a phone call with you per Mr. Wiggins. Mayor Mann said negative flyers about him were being distributed to the public and he thought it might be me. Mr. Wiggins informed the mayor he knew nothing about the flyers, but the mayor, not satisfied with his answer, decided to do a smear campaign on Article 24/7, denouncing his opponent and demanding Wiggins write an article on 24/7 condemning the author of the flyers. What a hypocrite you are, Mr. Mayor. You paid for 2,000 copies of negative flyers on Darcy Coonsey and Sue Christensen at the Staples in Menifee and hand-delivered them to me at my home for distribution in the community when you were running for the mayor in 2012. I still have the 2 boxes from Staple with your name on it, plus the fact my daughter and son were witness to your delivery of said flyers. It was okay with you to deliver negative flyers on your opponent in the mayor's race in 2012, but when the table is turned, you cry foul. If they appear negative to you, you only have yourself to blame. Those flyers are a true record of how you voted and can be verified at City Hall. You voted for low-income housing bill, voted to put it large on the ballot to try and overthrow the vote for districts. Your campaign money is funded by developers, fined $1,500 by the FPPC, refused to sign the city council pledge, requested a $1,200 pay increase per year. There is a police report that you threatened me, plus I have an email you sent to the city attorney to go after Tom Furman after you lost the council seat to him in 2010. You're running for re-election, and the public has a right to know how you voted in the past and as mayor. The crime report issued by the Sheriff's Department shows that violent crime was up 200% in 2013, just like it says on those flyers, and you want to raise when we don't have more money to put more cops in the streets. It's just disgraceful how self-serving you are. Don't bother to rebuttal or demand retraction from me, because you won't get it. I will not be bullied or reprimanded by you or anyone else for speaking the truth. And blowing the whistle on corruption is not stepping over the line, Mr. Edgerton. I asked the council to investigate the mayor at the last meeting. Has any action been taken? You had no problem investigating Tom Furman when Mr. Mann made allegations.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Excuse me, Mayor. Roger Schultz.
Well, good evening, City Council members, Mayor, and other board members. I would like to let everybody know I'm here on my own time tonight. I am the president of Mount San Jacinto College. I'm here to talk about Measure AA that is on the November ballot. We've got a long history with the city of Menifee. We've kind of grown up together as a city when you were birthed. In fact, we hosted some of your city council meetings. We've been together as the campus has expanded. But we are facing unprecedented growth in the years ahead. We're bursting at the seams right now. We've been identified as one of the fastest growing colleges in the country in 2008. And if it weren't for the recession, we would still be at numbers exceeding 26,000 students. But right now, Menifee campus has 11,000. Our college as a whole has 18,500, and we're expected to be beyond 50,000 students by 2025. Our facilities are inadequate to anticipate the growth and meet the needs of the future workforce and the graduating high school students and the returning veterans that we are seeing coming back to our region in record numbers. We are a top veterans serving institution, one of the top 20% in the country, and we're one of only 3 in the state recognized as community colleges that are veteran friendly, and the only community college in the state with 2 veteran centers. So for that reason, with all the growth and all that's coming at us, the College Board voted on putting a $295 million facilities bond on the November ballot. That sounds like a lot of money, but we spread that around 1,700 square miles and servicing 5 distinct educational sites, with the Menifee campus really being the largest one. Measure AA will have strict accountability tied to it, of course, but beyond that, I want to point out that all the facilities that will be built are instructional. There is not an administrative headquarters or a staff development facility. It is all going to infrastructure and instruction, so we will become a lot more energy efficient. We're one of the few community colleges in the state that do not have a facilities bond in the last 4 decades, and that has hurt our ability to access or provide the access we need. Although it sounds like this is a lot of money, it ends up being about $26 per household, per house throughout the Riverside County area. I think it might be a little bit more. So I'm standing before you today to provide you with a little bit of information. Hopefully you've gotten that. A number of you have already signed on as supporters, and I thank you for that. And I'll leave you with some materials that I'd like to provide to the council later. But again, I hope you will consider supporting us on this important measure on November 4th. Thank you
Mr.
very much.
Furman?
I know I mentioned this to Mr. Johnson, but the Good Shepherd Lutheran Church down here has 12 classrooms that they vacated, and they're going to be empty for who knows how long. So maybe an investigation there. You might have some temporary classrooms there if you so desire.
I will look into that. I know we're looking for community education classrooms right now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the hot tip.
President Schultz, thank you for everything you're doing for veterans, returning vets who've come before us and of different conflicts. Under your leadership, you've set the pace with that program, and as a veteran, I'm very grateful for everything that you have done on both your campus for our veterans.
It's an honor to serve. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Edgerton?
Yeah, in reference to school bonds, I think we seniors are notorious for voting them down, perhaps because we're no longer in school, our kids are no longer in school, and for some of us, our grandkids are no longer in school, and so we don't want to pay any more taxes. I'm a strong supporter of what you're trying to push here, Roger, for 2 reasons. Number one, college towns get some real benefits, and there's still a lot of things that our city could do to become in greater partnership with the college. We already do a lot of things, and I think everybody's pleased about that. But I think the more important reason is a lot of times as we get older, I've got great grandkids. They don't even live in the state, and you think, why should I pay for some more property tax? I'm on Social Security. I'm not poor, but I'm on Social Security. But I'm thinking, what about that nurse? What about that doctor? What about that police officer? Who's going to take care of us? Somebody took care of us. I remember the first day when I was in kindergarten. I remember my teachers. I remember the people who helped me. And as you say, this is only going to go for more buildings and more classrooms, and kids today are buried. And it is just terrible, I think, what we're doing to our children as far as having to go out in debt for their school. We never had to do that when I was growing up. So I just can't add strongly enough to what you're asking for. We really owe it to the college. We owe it to the kids. We owe it to our community. It isn't very much to ask for. And I'm really pleased to be just one of many, many people in our city who are supporting AA, that bond initiative on the ballot.
Thank you very much. To your point, 90% of our nursing graduates work at the hospitals in our district. They don't leave to Orange County and San Diego. They stay here and take care of us.
Excellent.
Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you,
consideration.
sir. Next speaker, please.
Janet Anderson.
Good evening, Mayor, City Councilman. My name is Janet Anderson, and I am from the community of Quail Valley. And I wanted to come here tonight to bring attention to two items in Quail Valley. The first, I want to thank Jonathan and Rafael Martinez for the work that they are doing on the street improvements on Vista Way and Casa Bonita. Rafael has been coming to our community group meetings and keeping the community up to date on the progress of the project. And I personally went and drove the streets, and it's a huge improvement. And we're just really, really proud, thankful. The second item that I wanted to talk about is, again, Jonathan is the star tonight, is Jonathan and Margarita Conejo. They both, along with Ron Sullivan and his team at EMWD, helped QVAC put together their first grant. And we applied to for funding for help in outreach and education on the upcoming project by EMWD in Area 9. They are going to get sewers, and so we want to work on that. So I'm very happy with the outcome of these two projects, and I look forward to working together with the city and EMWD to make my little rough area into a diamond. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President
Thank
of the Quail Valley Environmental Coalition. Next speaker, please.
Katie Manier.
Good evening. I have to commend the governor for not reinstating the vehicle license fees. I lived in Harupa Valley, and I've heard what they go through and their financial straits, and our city's no different. I'm sure he took a look at how our money handling was going and knew it was better off at the state level. Not one of you on the council questions the warrant register, ever, even when citizens have questions regarding where our tax money goes. It is the citizens' money. It is not your own money. It is not the city's money. It's the taxpayers' money, used for things to better the community. Homeowners bear the biggest burden with taxes. Not that our mayor would realize that, since he's not a homeowner, but has taken a huge sum on a house at the expense of a financial institute. How is that for integrity and honesty? Then for Zona Davis, who I have no idea who she is, and Jim Cockroach, I think it's Jim Roach. I might be a senior citizen. I am not a Sun City complainer. I don't even live in Sun City. These people know nothing about me, yet they keep lambasting me via email, thanks to Menifee 24/7 magazine, rag. I call it a rag. It's not even a newspaper. They need to come out to the meetings. I'm not a complainer. I'm here so people are aware of what goes on, how things are handled, and what's being done. We don't have an honest newspaper in this town to hear and read the truth. We need some real news, not the rag and the crap that Menifee 24/7 puts out.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Don Westbrook.
Hello, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, and everyone else at the meeting tonight. I'm Don Westbrook. I'm a resident of Menifee for about 5 years now. I'm a homeowner and lived in Temecula prior to that for about 11 years. And my wife and I moved here to Menifee because we recognized it was a great place to live and to raise a family. And I think everybody here would agree that we're a growing community and we have a great environment. But I think there's a few problems here and there, you know, the occasional traffic delay that everybody experiences and a few other things. But I think our city is missing one important ingredient. And actually, the good lady that just spoke was a great introduction for me, because specifically I'm referring to locally driven media, and specifically a radio station for our city. And that's why I'm here tonight. I'm here on behalf of a Menifee-based nonprofit organization formed by a group of young men and women. And our group has received an exclusive permit from the Federal Communications Commission for construction of a low-power FM radio station. We requested the call letters KMFE because the call letters sound like the name Menifee. And the FCC kindly granted our request for those call letters. The station will be Menifee's first and only radio station, simply because there are no other FM allotments available. And the idea is to have a listener-powered radio outlet for our city that will inform, enlighten, and educate listeners to make a positive difference in the community. The station format will feature local news, talk, and events featuring diverse viewpoints from Menifee. There's much more I have to tell you. We'll have possibility of live broadcast at civic events. We'll have the possibility of broadcasting sporting events such as high school football games. There are many options for the radio station. We'll also broadcast with the FCC emergency alert system, which helps to notify people in case of a natural disaster or an emergency. Our main focus right now, however, is raising money. Since we're nonprofit, we are in the process of raising money. So far, we have about $2,000 out of a budget that is about 10 times that for transmitting and studio equipment. So on behalf of the staff at KMFE, I'd like to invite everyone to look at our project on Kickstarter.com.
That's your time.
Thank you. And I would appreciate it if you'd consider supporting us.
Mr. Edgerton?
Yes.
A question. Are you affiliated in any way with our 24/7?
No.
Okay.
No.
Who are you? Who are you with? How would we identify you? In other words, are you affiliated with the Chamber of Commerce? Are you affiliated with a certain group in town?
Yeah, it's probably a group you haven't heard of. We are registered with the business as a nonprofit organization. And the organization was actually started by this group of young people that I mentioned. I'm kind of the old guy in the group, believe it or not. So it's a kind of a unique position for me.
I know the feeling, yeah. Yeah. Well, bless your heart. Welcome to Menifee. Hope you get off the ground.
Thank you, Mr. Westbrook. Next speaker, please.
Those are all, excuse me again, those are all the speakers on public comments. You do have a speaker on consent tonight, just as an advance
Okay,
notice.
thank you. And council member updates?
I have one, Mayor.
Mr. August?
I'm going to get ahead of Mr. Lennox here for a second, and I'm going to give the council an update as well as some of the people in the audience by mentioning the fact that there was a Senior Citizens Advisory Committee meeting yesterday that I attended. There were at least 25 residents in attendance, several of who were Senior Homeowner Association presidents and board members. One of the topics that probably generated the large interest yesterday was a discussion about a possible city caretaker ordinance. Because of the depth and the interest and the wide experience and the input from members of the audience, it was decided by the committee that several workshops would be necessary in order to fully understand the complexity of the ordinance. The first workshop, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Sanchez, will be held October 14th, is that correct? At 10 o'clock in the morning at City Hall. For those of you in senior homeowner associations whose board of directors may not have had the opportunity to attend yesterday's meeting, I would ask you to invite them to come to the workshop on October the 14th. I imagine the committee would also not mind having some property management representation at that meeting or any other concerned citizens. Interesting at the meeting yesterday, and it was kind of shocking to everyone, was information from a home care specialist who works with an elder care attorney. It's actually a friend of Ms. Sanchez's. And she told us that prisons, in efforts to rehabilitate inmates, are teaching the trade of caregiving in our prisons. That could be an interesting mix, worthy of consideration for our committee, and it could possibly impact the direction of our caretaker ordinance. Also discussed by my appointee to the commission, by Mr. Kenny Wojtek, was the possibility and development of an intercity trolley system that would go to and from commerce centers throughout the city. Ruth Goulet also talked about the variety of shopping, more variety of shopping in the Sun City Shopping Center. I was very happy to attend the meeting. I want to thank Gloria Sanchez, all the committee members, Robert Lennox, Margarita Canejo, and Alan Yoon for their participation in beginning a dialogue on some very serious and interesting subjects within the senior community in the city of Menifee. So thanks to all of you.
Thank you, Mr. August. Mr. Furman?
I'm going to just give you a short story of an unsung hero. His name is Lonnie Knoll. He served in Vietnam, and he got in contact with Agent Orange. When he got out of the service, he went to a ranch in Utah. And the winters got too cold for him. About 15 years ago, he moved to Holland Road, and he was my neighbor for 15 years. Quiet, never did much, walked up down the street. About 4 months ago, he went into the hospital. It was inoperable. So he come home and died at his daughter's residence on Saturday. Unsung, nobody knew what this man did, but this man actually gave his life. At age 64, his life was shortened severely by this Agent Orange and his tour of duty in Vietnam. So I would just like a moment of silence for my neighbor. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Furman. Anything else, gentlemen? Thank you
I got one more comment.
Okay, you have the floor.
Also, I think I made this comment before about individual owner builders, okay? It does not happen here in Menifee, and I don't know whether it's a unique conundrum, but nobody seems to build their own house here in Menifee, all right? I checked with Rob Johnson today because I was curious about why no one in Quail Valley applies for a permit to build or to start grading. And it comes down to it that nobody is applying to find out what the process is to build. So basically, I'm going to pretty much say that if it perks, it'll work. And if you want to build a house, you gotta go through the application process. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Furman. Anything else, gentlemen? On to the warrant register, the consent calendar. Madam Clerk, we have a speaker.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Katie Manier.
I actually put in for 10-7, is that right?
Yeah, that's part of the warrant register.
It's part of the warrant
Is it?
register.
Okay, okay, I lost my
I mean
place.
consent calendar, sorry.
Okay. It seems like this city has let in a lot of people that maybe aren't quite as desirable as we would like in our city. And the crime rate's gone up. We know that. That's a fact. Last year's crime rate was up terribly. We don't know this year how it's gone so far. And now we're talking about letting sex offenders in. We're going to build a courthouse so they have a place to go to take care of their probation officers and all their stuff they have to do and to report, which is going to be right next to a kid's splash park, a shopping center, a school, not to mention a huge school with thousands or hundreds of kids, however many they have. And we're thinking about allowing sex offenders into our city. I want to know how smart that is. And in that area with the courthouse and all the kids and all the things around. Let's think about what we're doing to our future generation and the kids that live here.
Thank you. Gentlemen, may I have a motion on the consent calendar, please?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Edgerton, motion by Mr. Denver. Roll call vote, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Councilmember August. Councilmember Furman. Councilmember Denver. Deputy Mayor Edgerton. I'm sorry, did he answer? Oh, yes, okay. And Mayor Mann.
Aye.
Thank you.
On to public hearings, agenda item 11.1, a continued public hearing for the Womble change of zone. And we have, the hearing remains open from the previous meeting. Mr. Johnson, do we have a staff report?
We do. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I'm going to pass this over to Charles Leclerc, your interim planning director, for the balance of the item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. The item before you tonight is change of zone number 2014-024. It's referred to by many people as the Womble property. This is a site map that shows the location, which is north of Newport, next to Lazy Creek Road on Bradley. It would be the west side of Bradley, and just south of the Salt Creek. Currently, the property is vacant, and as you can see on this, the properties to the north are vacant, properties to the east are commercial and office, properties to the south is a church, and properties to the west are single-family residential. The council may recall that this property, along with several others, was closely examined when it was considering the general plan at the end of last year. This property in particular was considered when it was considered for being changed in order to bring the draft housing element into line with the comments from the State Department of Housing and Community Development, that would be HCD, in order to make our housing element be consistent with what they interpreted as housing law. After discussions at City Council meetings, the Council on December 18th, when they adopted the entire general plan, included the housing element, and on a 4-to-1 vote approved the general plan, therefore the housing element, which approved the 8 to 14 dwelling unit per acre residential designation of this property. The zone change under consideration tonight, which as the mayor commented on a moment ago, was continued from September 17th, would bring the zoning of the property into conformance with the current general plan designation for the property. The Planning Commission considered this item at a public hearing on April 22nd of 2014. At that time, they considered and adopted Resolution 14-175, forwarding a recommendation to you to approve the zone change. It is also noted that the Commission received one opposition letter to this request. That opposition letter is a part of your staff report. The existing general plan designation, as I just noted, is the 8 to 14 dwelling units per acre residential. Surrounding the site are to the north, similar general plan designation of 8 to 14. To the south is public and quasi-public, the church I mentioned before. To the east is the new economic development corridor designation, and to the west is 2 to 5 dwelling units per acre residential use. The change is proposed to bring property zoning into conformance with its general plan designation by changing the 4.8 net acre parcel from one family dwelling, R1, to multiple family dwellings, R2. In staff's review and analysis of this request, our recommendation to the Commission and to you is based upon the following. The general plan currently designates the site as 8 to 14 dwelling units per acre residential. Current R1 zoning is inconsistent with this general plan designation due to its 7,200 square foot minimum size and its prohibition on either smaller lots, smaller than 7,200 square feet, or multifamily residential development. The proposed R2 designation would allow for development types that could reach the minimum 8 dwelling units per acre density and would be consistent with the general plan designation. And finally, the R2 zoning would require Planning Commission review and approval of a plot plan before a multifamily project could be developed upon this property. With that, and any questions you may have, staff recommends that you conduct the public hearing, then introduce ordinance number 2014-152, approving change of zone 2014-024, based upon the findings, which can be found on pages 4 through 6 of the staff report, and the conclusions incorporated within that staff report, and schedule ordinance number 2014-152 for adoption at your next council meeting, which would be October 15th of 2014. I will attempt to answer any questions you may have, and we have staff here that could answer questions if I'm unable to.
Thank you, Mr. LeClaire. Mr. Furman?
Charles, at the Planning Commission level, was there any negative discussions on anything brought up at all, or was it all positive?
I don't remember any negative. If it was relatively minor. I don't remember any at all, though.
Right, and it was a unanimous decision of the Planning Commission to move forward. Right.
It was unanimous of the 4 members present.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions of council or staff? Thank you, Mr. LeClaire. The public hearing remains open, and Madam Clerk, would you please just reconfirm that this was properly noticed, and have we received any additional correspondence?
I can reconfirm that, and no, we have not.
Thank you. Then I'll call for public testimony from the audience, and the applicant has the first speaking right.
Yeah, Larry Markham, representing the applicant. We're just here to answer any questions and concur with the staff and commission recommendation to you.
Thank you. Any questions of council, Mr. Markham? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, do we have any more public testimony?
No, sir.
Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to speak to this matter? Hearing none. Applicant, do you have anything else you'd like to say? Very well. Closing the public hearing at time 7:42. Council, we're inside the rail. I'll entertain a motion or further discussion. Mr. Furman?
Get these buttons right.
You got the floor.
I got them right. Actually, since the Planning Commission went over this very thoroughly, and I had a good meeting with my Planning Commissioner, and I probably will, can't say I won't, but I have to follow with how the Planning Commission voted, and I'm going to support this, and I'll make a motion to pass this ordinance.
There's a motion to introduce. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Mr. Denver. Mr. August, you have the floor.
I'm going to vote no tonight for the ordinance with the full expectation that the majority vote on the council will pass this ordinance this evening. And with all respect to Mr. Mark and Mr. Womble, I completely understand what you're trying to do. I voted against the change to the general plan from economic corridor to residential, and also against higher density from lower density when the council took that vote. I do respect the decision of my council members, but I have thought from the beginning the property north of the Mormon Church, that the land use and the zoning of the 2 parcels would not be in the best interest of the property located near the intersection of Bradley and Newport, because it would affect the people from the core area egressing out onto Newport from Bradley. I think in the interest of keeping my vote consistent, I'm respectfully going to vote no this evening.
Thank you, Mr. August. Gentlemen, any other comments? Call for the question, please. On the motion to introduce.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Councilmember Denver? Deputy Mayor Edgerton? Councilmember Furman?
Aye.
Councilmember August?
No.
Mayor Mann?
Aye.
Thank you.
On to agenda item 11.2, another continued public hearing from the previous meeting, Heritage Square Shopping Center Development Agreement. And with that, we'll take a staff report. Mr. Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Lisa Gordon, your planning manager, will give the balance of the item.
Good evening, Lisa Gordon presenting the Heritage Square Shopping Center. We have an extension of time for the plot plan, 3 conditional use permits, and a development agreement. The project site is located north of McCall, west of Menifee Road, and south of Rouse. The general plan land use designation for the property is commercial retail. To the north, you have 8.1 to 14 dwelling units and acre residential. To the south, you have a mix of commercial and 2.1 to 5 dwelling units and acre residential. And to the west, you have public facilities. To the east, you have the Menifee Valley Ranch specific plan, which is a mixture of medium density residential. The project site is currently vacant. To the north and south, you have vacant properties. To the south and the east, you have existing residential. And to the west, you have the Boulder Ridge Elementary School. This project was presented to the Planning Commission on August 12, 2014. At that meeting, the Planning Commission recommended approval of the project with a vote of 4-0, with Commissioner Matthew Leesmeyer abstaining. The City Council opened the public hearing on this item on September 17th, and there were no speakers on the item. The extension of time is the third and final one-year extension for the plot plan, which proposes a 132,580 square foot retail center. This is the site plan that shows the conceptual landscaping. This is an exhibit that shows the elevations for the building. These are the majors. There's also going to be some parcels around the exterior of the site, pad buildings for shops, retail, restaurants, and a gas station. The original plot plan was approved by the City Council on June 1st, 2010, and there were, along with 3 conditional use permits. Prior to the City Council approval of the original plot plan, the item was presented to the Planning Commission 3 times, and they did recommend approval of the project. We have approved 2 extensions of time for the plot plan. In order for this plot plan to be included in the development agreement that's before you tonight, the extension to the plot plan needs to be approved. The 3 CUPs that were originally approved with the plot plan expired. Conditional use permits are only allowed to have a 3-year maximum life, so those expired on June 1st, 2013. Therefore, to be included with the proposed development agreement, the uses reviewed and approved under the original conditional use permits also need to be reapproved. The conditional use permit proposals are identical to what was approved on June 1st, 2010 by the City Council and what was recommended by the Planning Commission. Conditional use permit 2014-155 proposes the development of a convenience store, car wash, and gasoline service station with the concurrent sale of beer and wine for off-premise consumption. Conditional use permit number 2014-156 proposes to allow the sale of distilled spirits and beer and wine for off-premise consumption for Major A, which is anticipated to be a drugstore. The drugstore requires the CUP because the square footage of the building is under 20,000 square feet, which is the cutoff for our ordinance for requiring a CUP. Conditional use permit number 2014-157 proposes to allow for the seasonal sales area and recyclable area associated with the grocery store. Pursuant to the zoning for the site, uses permitted with the plot plan in this zone that have more than 200 feet of outside storage of display materials require a conditional use permit for that outdoor storage of display materials. The development agreement is a proposal for the City of Menifee to enter into an agreement with the property owner for an initial term of 5 years with the possibility of 5 extensions that would be approved by the City Council. The agreement is intended to extend the life of the entitlements for a shopping center due to the requirement for major drainage infrastructure to be in before a building permit could be issued for this shopping center. The lead agency on this project is flood. It is Line A. It's anticipated to be constructed by mid-2016, but without the development agreement and reapproval of the extension and CUPs, this project will expire on June 1st, 2015. The shopping center project is well designed and desired by the community. Therefore, the extension of the life of the project provided for beyond what our ordinance normally allows is considered a reasonable request. The development agreement would obligate the owners of the Heritage Square development to construct their project and road improvements in compliance with the City Council approved project and conditions of approval. The development agreement would obligate the city to allow a 5-year life for the entitlements with the possibility of the 5 additional extensions over what would normally be allowed by Ordinance 348. The agreement does not include any fee credits, waiver of fees, or freezing of development impact fees. The development agreement cannot extend the life of the applications that have already expired. Therefore, new conditional use permits and the extension of the plot plan are also before you tonight. Some issues of concern. 2 of the CUPs require the off-site sale of alcohol, and we need to adopt findings of public necessity and convenience. Since this project was originally approved by the City Council in June 2010, the census tracts changed, and they were updated for population, and the boundaries were switched. ABC criteria has established that 1 license is the limit to the ratio of retail establishments to population before an undue concentration exists within a census tract. So only 1 license is allowed per ABC, and that has already been issued to the Plaza Wine and Spirits located at the Bel Air Plaza at Encanto and Shadell. The City Council must adopt findings of public necessity and convenience to approve the conditional use permits that propose the sale of beer, wine, and distilled spirits. These are the new census tract boundaries. Our project is located in census tract 427.28, kind of in the center of this exhibit. It is a lot of the residential in Heritage Lakes is not included in the census tract that the shopping center project is located in. The number of licenses allowed in a tract before ABC determines an undue concentration of licenses exists is based on population. The census tract within which the project site is currently located only has a population of 2,266 people. Most of this census tract is designated for commercial, office, and industrial uses. There are 3 large residential tracts that have been approved to the north of this site with 980 lots and approximately 2,900 future residents. Existing residents in Heritage Lakes to the east of the site have requested more shopping opportunities. Currently, the closest shopping center is either the Ralph's at Newport and Antelope or the Sun City Shopping Center west of the 215 at McCall. The Plaza Wine and Spirits liquor store is the only other opportunity for the off-site sale of beer, wine, and distilled spirits in the area, and that's located 2 miles away from the site. The Heritage Square Shopping Center would provide another opportunity for residents in this area to buy alcohol in the city of Menifee. In addition, because the Heritage Lakes Shopping Center is closer to the residential uses within the Heritage Lakes community, other advantages of locating additional alcohol sales would include reducing vehicle miles traveled, roadway congestion, and usage of fuel. Residents of the Heritage Lakes community would be able to walk or bike to the Heritage Square Shopping Center because the development is providing sidewalks and trails. Additional off-site licenses at the project site would provide a public convenience to the surrounding residential development. The City Council did adopt an ordinance requiring a 500-foot setback for convenience stores, mini marts selling alcohol, and liquor stores, that they be set back from schools and churches 500 feet. This convenience store is located 500 feet from the property of the Boulder Ridge Elementary School and over 900 feet from the closest building within that elementary school. The rule for the setback does not apply to the drugstore. The site is buffered from adjacent residential and school uses by the site design, including placement of buildings, parking, landscaping, and walls. The project has been conditioned that no beer, wine, or other alcoholic beverage advertising shall be located in such a manner that it could be viewed from the school and no displays of beer, wine, or other alcoholic beverages shall be located on the exterior of the building or within window areas. At this time, staff recommends adoption of the actions shown on the screen and also noted in your staff report on page 1 and 2. This concludes staff presentation.
Thank you, Lisa. Do we have any questions? Mr. Furman?
Lisa, in the first page of your discussion, you referred to a CUP of 3 years. I'm going back to when we had the Ponderosa and pit stops. I thought theirs was 5 years. Is there some kind of a difference now?
I think you're thinking about when the city council passed the ordinance requiring a conditional use permit for live entertainment for bars and other restaurants. There was a 5-year period where you gave certain businesses 5 years to come in and get their conditional use permit for free.
Okay, but conditional use permits are renewed every 3 years once?
Conditional use permits are only valid for up to 3 years. Usually the conditions of approval will allow a developer to use that conditional use permit within 1 or 2 years with the possibility of either 1 or 2 extensions for a maximum life of 3 years.
Okay, so once they start the ball rolling, then they can just keep on rolling. Is that
Once
right?
they
Exercise.
once they start the use allowed by the CUP. So if it's the sale of alcohol, it's when they start selling alcohol.
Okay. All right. Thank
Mr.
you.
Leclerc?
Thank you. I'd like to make it clear, the development agreement talks about a 5-year life and then 5 extensions. Those are 5 one-year extensions, not 5 5-year extensions.
Understand. Any other questions? I have one, it's a historical question, because the original council approved this project in 2010 originally, and I know a lot of staff was not here then, but you were, Mr. Johnson, you were not even the city manager at the time, but you know, here it is 2014, and I know that the economy's recovered, and I know that Menifee Road's done, and there's clearly a desire to move forward with this project, but when it comes to Line A, is there any truth to the rumor that the applicant originally had approached city staff to put in a temporary retention basin in order to mitigate flooding, in order for this project to go forward irrespective of Line A? Is there any truth to that?
There may have been some meetings about that way back when, but I wasn't included in any of the formal discussions, but I remember hearing something about it. It must not have been allowed.
That's too bad. That would have been a creative way to get that commercial project in that part of town done then, instead of 4 years later, or however long it may take for it to actually construct. So, well, that answered my question a little bit. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And hearing no other questions, this public hearing is still open, and so therefore, can you just reconfirm, Madam Clerk, that this was properly noticed, and did we receive any additional correspondence?
I can confirm it was properly noticed. We've received no additional correspondence.
Thank you very kindly, and we'll call for public testimony. Is the applicant here to speak?
The applicant's representative, Will Stout, will be speaking.
Mr. Stout?
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff. Will Stout with the Rancon Group. Just here to answer any questions that you may have regarding the project.
Okay. Well, that was easy. Thank you for bringing what I hope will be another quality commercial development to the city of Menifee to expand our local tax base. Thank you very much. Do we have any public testimony from the audience?
No, sir.
Does anybody wish to speak on this development? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing at time 7:58. And gentlemen, do we have anything to discuss tonight on this? Mr. Denver?
I'm very excited about this. I wish I had $1 every time some people on that side of the freeway would like to have us, the city, focus on some projects like this on that side of the freeway, on the east side. This is right in front of Heritage Lakes with a very large population. When Line A comes in, the population will explode in Romoland. This project is high quality, has been stated, and will be just one of several in that area. And I'm really looking forward to it, and it certainly has my support.
And instead of bringing in another Stater Brothers, maybe you can get a Barron's or a Trader Joe's or another Aldi grocery store to that part of town. Mr. Edgerton.
What about a New York cheesecake factory?
A cheesecake factory, that's trying so hard.
I would just like to second John Denver's comments in reference to the east side, because I live over on that side, and we've just been hemorrhaging sales tax as we drive down to Murrieta and different places to do our work and buy our products, et cetera. And it's a good thing to now have things which are convenient or will be convenient for our city, not only for our residents, but also for our funds. Now that we're not going to get our VLF funds back, we do want to be concentrating on things that are also going to be generating sales tax for us, and this will do just that.
Excellent points. Any other comments? Madam Clerk, could you just confirm my notes? Looks like we have 7 motions to make here.
That appears to be true.
Well, is it true, or does it appear to be true?
6. Hold on, I believe we have 6.
6.
Let me look, just to count, because I wrote them down. Now you're making me question it.
Oh, there's 7
There's 7 in the...
7 on the screen.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, number 7 is scheduling the ordinance for a second reading, which
Okay.
can be part of the motion to introduce.
All right, very good. May I have a motion to adopt resolution number 14-401?
So moved.
May I have a roll call vote, please?
Deputy Mayor Edgerton. Councilmember Furman.
Aye.
Councilmember August. Councilmember Denver. And Mayor Mann.
Aye. May I have a motion to adopt a finding of public necessity and convenience?
Aye.
Roll call vote.
Councilmember Furman.
Aye.
Councilmember August. Councilmember Denver. Deputy Mayor Edgerton. Mayor Mann.
Aye.
Thank you.
May I have a motion to adopt resolution number 14-402, approving the CUP?
So moved.
Second.
Councilmember August. Councilmember Denver. Deputy Mayor Edgerton. Councilmember Furman.
Aye.
Mayor Mann.
Aye.
Thank you.
And a motion to adopt resolution 14-403, approving
So
the
moved.
other CUP. We have a motion, and is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote.
Councilmember Denver. Deputy Mayor Edgerton. Councilmember Furman.
Aye.
Councilmember August. Mayor Mann.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion to adopt resolution 14-404.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Edgerton. Councilmember Furman.
Aye.
Councilmember August. Councilmember Denver. Mayor Mann.
Aye.
Thank you.
Introduce ordinance number 2014-158, approving the development agreement
And schedule for a second reading.
and
October.
scheduling for a second reading.
So move.
Councilmember Furman.
Aye.
Councilmember August. Councilmember Denver. Deputy Mayor Edgerton. Mayor Mann.
Aye.
Thank you.
Bring that development on. We need it over there. On to our third public hearing of the evening, public hearing fiscal year 2013-14 comprehensive annual performance and evaluation report for the Community Development Block Grant Program. Mr. Johnson?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of council, Robert Lennox, your Community Services Director, has the balance of the item.
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. It's my pleasure to present this report. Just a bit of background on CDBG. Community Development Block Grant was established by the Federal Housing Community Development Act of 1974. As you know, the eligible activities include a wide array of projects and programs, all of which you've approved in previous meetings and over previous years. The annual allocation amounts are determined by HUD using a formula which includes several measures of community need, including income areas as well as age brackets of the residents within those areas. Annually, the City of Menifee is required to prepare the following: the annual action plan, which this body heard and adopted back in May 2013, and it includes projects and activities that will be part of the upcoming year, but beginning coinciding with our fiscal year on July 1. The second item is a comprehensive annual performance and evaluation report, also known as CAPER, for the program year 2013-14, which is what's being considered this evening. This includes what projects and activities were completed during the most recent program year that ended June 30th. So that would have been this past June 30th, not the one approaching. And so within the staff report, there is a summary table, and I'll show it on the screen in a moment, that provides really an outlay of what funds have been expended on the programs within the 2013-14 year. I understand that the text on the screen is a bit small, but again, in your report, it's also represented. I will highlight that an updated version of this is in your red folder this evening, as there was some drawdowns that occurred after the time in which the staff report was included in the agenda. So the most recent is in your red folder. So the recommendation is to conduct the public hearing and to consider adoption of a resolution approving the comprehensive annual performance and evaluation report for program year 13-14 and authorize staff to submit the CAPER to HUD. That concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions during the public hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Lennox. Gentlemen, do we have any questions of staff? Mr. August?
Quick question, Mr. Lennox, the minor home rehabilitation program, what kind of interest are you getting in that? And do you basically go through all the funds anticipate going through all the funds?
We do. What you see in the table on the screen and in your staff report, you'll see 120,000 are allocated and only 16,000 have been expended. That doesn't actually represent what has been accounted for or encumbered. We do anticipate expending all 120,000 from the prior fiscal year. Some of those projects have been approved by HUD. We're just waiting for the contractors to complete the work.
Do you expect that allocation to remain the same for the foreseeable future, or do you expect it to go up every year?
It really depends. That's a call. The allocations are made by HUD, although we do request more every year.
Thank you.
Any other questions at this point? Hearing none, I will open the public hearing at time 8:06. Madam Clerk, was this properly noticed?
Yes, sir.
Have we received any additional correspondence on this item?
No, sir.
Do we have any public testimony tonight?
No, sir.
Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak to this matter? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing at time 8:07. Gentlemen, may I have a motion to introduce, a motion to adopt resolution number 14-405 approving the CAPER.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. And Mr. Edgerton.
Well, it'd be difficult to do anything but approve it from a pragmatic standpoint. Just a reminder, once again, these are HUD programs, national programs, are bittersweet. We have in the news today, and obviously this is not an analogy, but just to make the point, Hong Kong is protesting right now because they want more freedom from their central government. We started out with a nation that was essentially controlled locally. When I was a kid and you looked at local governments, cities, about 80% of the budget was determined locally. Today, it's just the reverse of that. About 80% is determined by the central government. So the good coming out of that, of course, there is funding, a lot of good things happen, but you lose a lot of your local control. You lose some of your freedom, some of your liberty at the local level as far as being able to make some of the decisions you would like. So I'm supportive of the CDBG grant funds because I don't see a practical alternative, but it's just a reminder. It is a bittersweet kind of thing. It's not all sugar.
Thank you, Mr. Edgerton. I would like to ask, I think when we discussed this before, when we approved these awards of $10,000 going forward in our program, we tried to adjust some of the amounts earlier on to maybe spread some of the money around a little bit to the nonprofits who had applied. And at the time, we had submitted a program that says we're going to fund at $10,000 increments. So going forward, I think if we're going to continue this program, if we could request that we break that up and we don't have to fund it that way, but if we can get the flexibility to award lesser amounts and award to more organizations, I think that would give staff and council greater flexibility in the future. That's my only comment. We have a motion and a second on the floor. We have a roll call vote, please.
Yes, sir. Councilmember August. Councilmember Denver. Deputy Mayor Edgerton. Councilmember Furman.
Aye.
Mayor Mann.
Aye. We have no discussion items this evening. City Attorney report.
No report tonight, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Melching. City Manager report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. We do have a brief report for you, and I'd first like to go to Robert Lennox, your Community Services Director. He has a SAC and a YAC update.
Thank you, City Manager. Without repeating much of what Councilmember August shared, it was a very productive meeting with the Senior Advisory Committee, and we will be returning in a workshop format to discuss caregiver ordinance opportunities for the City of Menifee on the 14th of October at 10 a.m. here in this room. In addition, the first meeting of the Youth Advisory Committee did take place this week, and all members of the committee were present. They were able to elect officers for the committee, including a chair, vice chair, and secretary, and have already begun discussions about how to contribute to upcoming events and projects they'd like to work on to inform youth and to provide advisory role or advisory capacities to this council. So we're very excited about what the coming months will include. And then one final reminder is that this weekend on Saturday at 4 p.m. over at the college campus is the City Birthday Bash. So we want to remind and encourage all residents to attend.
Excellent. On the YAC, would it be? Do you have a plan, like when the Youth Advisory Committee is out doing events for us? Do you have polo shirts for them that identifies what they're there, that really sets them apart from anybody else and really demonstrates their involvement?
It sounds like you were reading the minutes before they were printed. Yeah, actually, it was a topic of discussion, so we are planning to do that.
Excellent. All right, great.
Polo jackets.
Yeah, exactly. Mr. Johnson?
Thank you, sir. We have one more update from Public Works. But before we get there, I tried to peek my head into the room and just kind of check out how the YAC was going. And of course, I got pulled in by Mr. Lennox and immediately harassed by the YAC leadership, being peppered with questions from some of them, which I quickly averted and directed to you as the policymakers, that they will come with some recommendations to you. So it's a lively group. They're invested. All of them came, which I thought was amazing. You know, sometimes you go through this process and you select these folks and you have so much kind of hope in what they're going to do. And they all came and they were all active and engaged, and it was good to see. So you'll be seeing more of them and hearing from Robert about them. So it's great to see. And Jonathan Smith has the balance of the city manager's update with a public works update and a Line A update as requested by the mayor.
Yes.
Thank you, City Manager, Mayor and Council. If the YAC's looking for some work, Public Works can put them to work. Okay. Before you tonight, I have a Line A update. Just a quick refresher, the Riverside County Flood Control and Water Conservation District is constructing Phase 1 of Line A right now, which includes Stage 3. I'll show you a map here shortly, what that means. Currently, that work is on schedule, and hopefully it'll be completed by this winter. Riverside County Flood is also getting ready to put out the bid Phase 2 of Line A, which is a section of Line A just to the west of our boundary and continues through our city. I'll show you a map here. This is Phase 1 of Line A, which borders Paris and the city. And this is a section that's under construction and will be completed by this winter. Here's some photos of the construction right now. These photos are areas within the city of Menifee. That's that structure there is within the city. The bottom picture is looking south from Ethonac into the city of Menifee. The structure will be the responsibility of the city to maintain, The rest of the Line A channel will be maintained by the flood district. This is a photo of the current construction looking towards Barnett. That structure is split between the city of Menifee and the city of Paris. This is the another structure that is adjacent to the 215. As you can see, progressing very well.
That actually goes under the freeway, does it not?
That's correct. This is an overall map of Line A. The green is the first phase, which is to the left of the screen on the west side of the city. As it turns around and goes under 215, still within the city of Paris. The blue line is the Phase 2 section of Line A, which will go out to bid by the end of this month and be completed by mid-2016. Already, development that's within the vicinity of Line A is gearing up. They're making their applications. They're trying to get in. They know that Line A is finally happening. With that, that ends my presentation. I have any other questions you have I can answer?
I just, I don't have a question at this point. I'm just I'm really tickled that this is finally here because if you recall, some of you weren't here, but in 2009, this project, it's been in the works for about 14 years, but this project was selected by Secretary Dale Bonner, the former Secretary of Business, Transportation, and Housing, as part of the Governor Schwarzenegger's work recovery program. This project was selected as the #1 recovery project in all of San Bernardino and Riverside County. And despite that, not one dime of federal ARRA money flew to that project. And so with you all, the new staff that's here, and Sean Nelson and others at the Flood Control District and the county, you guys unlocked this thing and cracked the nut and helped it get going. So very, very grateful for all of your efforts to make this thing go. Mr. August.
Sorry, I pushed my button.
Oh, that was a...
I just want, are we ready for a final? I was just waiting for a final.
Yeah. Any other questions for Mr. Smith? Mr. Johnson?
No questions, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Just two items more. As you may have saw if you'd driven past east or west on Newport on the east side of the freeway, the median is being constructed and will be planted over the next 3 weeks or so. There's an interesting traffic pattern out there, as you can imagine, where we are closing down one side going east in the morning and west in the afternoon, reverse trafficking that. And then finally, within the next week or 2 weeks, we'll be starting the finalization of the Cherry Hills Boulevard median between Bradley and Sun City Boulevard. So that section will finally be done. That concludes the city manager update for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. August? We're on future agenda requests.
I was sitting up here thinking about all these reports from the staff, and I want to just take a minute because some of the people in the audience that they kind of have an idea of what I'm talking about. But I wanted to kind of thank your staff, Mr. Johnson and Mr. Martinez, Ms. Gonzalez, Jonathan Smith, Alan, Margarita, and all those people. Every time thank you for helping me help the people in the community, because and thank you for allowing the staff to interact with us. But every time I get a complaint from the community, I always, not knowing as much as I should, I do rely on staff. But every time I've asked the staff to allow someone to come in and for us to visit with the staff and get the expertise that the staff has, they've always allowed me to do that. And I want to thank you. That creates a great impression in the city of Menifee for the staff. So they make me look good, and that's why I'm always taking you out to lunch or something like that.
Well, you're welcome, Mr. August. If I could just share what you're saying. And, we do have a staff that is not only professional and expert, but they actually care about the community. And what I've seen transpire over the last 2 years with this staff and us coming together, I believe somebody said earlier, in fact, it was Mr. Melching as we were talking, that it really is and Mr. Edgerton, it really is a family affair. We spend a lot of time with each other, more time than we do with our own families, and whether or not we rest our heads in this community, we live in this community, we work in this community, we spend our money in this community, and we care about it. So thank you for appreciating that.
And I never have taken them out to lunch.
I'm still waiting.
I know.
Anything else, gentlemen? All right, thank you for a wonderful meeting. We are adjourning this meeting tonight in the memory of Vietnam veteran Lonnie Knoll. We're adjourned.